Hey guys! Welcome to the Turkish Spotlight Secrets channel. All the details are in our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video before we dive in. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight's story took over both social media and the soundstage in a matter of minutes, and it all centers on Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel on the set of the series Abi. What began as just another long shooting day turned into a headline-making storm that left the crew stunned and the internet racing to pick sides. According to multiple people on set, the tension sparked during a scene that required sharp dialogue and heavy emotion. Those nearby insist that everything started within the frame of the script, but the boundary between performance and reality apparently blurred. Voices rose, timing slipped, and a misunderstanding about the blocking pushed both leads out of their groove. The argument written on the page began to carry the weight of real frustration. A chair scraped, a prop clattered, and the assistant director called for a pause. Crew members rushed in, not because of any violence, but to separate the scene from the moment and to cool the air before lines were crossed. People who witnessed it say the tension was shocking because the energy had seemed steady earlier in the day. The mood in the studio shifted instantly, monitors went dark, makeup artists dropped their brushes, and the set's calm rhythm broke into whispers. The inevitable ripple reached the production office, and within the hour a statement circulated from the management representing both actors and from the producers of Abi. It read, in essence, that an unfortunate disagreement on set led to a brief spike in tension, the matter had been talked through, and filming had resumed. It looked neat and tidy on paper, but online chatter only grew louder. As the statement made the rounds, fans flocked to comment sections. Some rushed to defend Yağmur, explaining that anyone submerged in demanding, high-stakes scenes could have a moment where emotions overflow. Others rallied behind Barış, praising his reputation for calm restraint amid chaos and urging the production to protect healthy boundaries. What made the situation even more compelling for the audience was that the two are widely perceived as professionals who rarely let private emotions spill into their work. That's exactly why the sudden break in their rhythm became the talk of the day. On the production side, the showrunners stepped forward again. Insiders say both leads were reminded to keep the environment collaborative and focused, and that additional measures would be introduced to ensure smoother long takes. That meant revisiting how difficult scenes are staged, keeping assistants close at hand to track cues, and, yes, quietly reinforcing security protocols around crowd days and emotionally explosive sequences. Several crew members described the day as completely unpredictable. They're used to pressure, but the spark between two such experienced performers unnerved even the veterans. The buzz didn't stop there. Within hours, videos allegedly recorded near the soundstage began to circulate. While none captured the critical moment itself, the mood was obvious: tense faces, rushed steps, and hushed voices. Anonymous crew comments trickled onto forums. Some insisted that Yağmur, who's known for throwing herself into intense roles, had been under immense pressure thanks to a string of demanding scenes. Others claimed Barış's quiet, disciplined approach, planned, controlled, and detail-driven, sometimes clashed with last-minute changes. Neither side sounded malicious. The friction, it seemed, was born from two different methods of reaching the same artistic goal. Sources close to the set later painted a fuller picture. They said the confrontation was not a random explosion but the surface crack of days of accumulated stress, late nights, rewrites, and emotionally loaded monologues stacked back to back. Yağmur, by these accounts, had kept up a relentless pace while still trying to protect her energy. Barış, for his part, was said to be intent on protecting continuity and precision, trying to keep the ensemble aligned with the director's frame. Put together, their rhythms collided. The result? Words that carried too much weight in the moment and a break that had to be called to reset everyone's minds. After the pause, the director convened an emergency meeting with both leads. People familiar with the conversation say it was calm and straightforward. Barış reportedly reminded the room that sets test everyone's limits, and that the only way through is with professionalism and care for each person's threshold. That tone helped lower the temperature, according to those present. In that room, the story goes, Yağmur expressed regret that the moment had spilled out the way it did and apologized for adding to the stress. The director, wanting to shield the episode from becoming a fissure, suggested practical fixes for the afternoon, shorter runs, clearer cueing, and a private space to breathe between takes. Filming paused briefly, then resumed under tighter choreography. Meanwhile, the producing team started drafting a longer-term plan. Individual check-ins with key cast. More controlled rehearsals before heavy scenes. Short breaks earmarked for psychological support when scripts cross raw emotional terrain. It was a sign that the show intended to protect not just the day's schedule, but the fragile trust that holds a creative machine together. While the stage lights warmed up again, the discussion out in the world showed no signs of cooling. Social media split into familiar camps. Some tried to parse what an actor endures when a role demands so much so fast. Others applauded Barış's steady posture, saying a set needs anchors when the tide rises. The question everyone kept circling, would this storm behind the curtain ripple onto the screen? Would the charged air distort or deepen the chemistry that anchors Abi week after week? For now, the curiosity only stoked interest in the coming episodes. Hours after the incident, however, the echoes still rang. Eyewitnesses described Yağmur retreating behind the flats, trying to steady her hands as adrenaline ebbed, eyes bright with the kind of tears that come when everything catches up at once. Barış, outwardly composed, spoke quietly to the team, reassuring them that the situation had been contained and that they were a unit first and last. In a shorter follow-up with department heads, he cautioned that this is a team sport, that nobody should burn past their limits for a take, and that it was on everyone to look out for the person next to them. Not long after, Yağmur's representative arrived, a familiar face to the crew, and guided her into a calmer space. Production managers closed ranks to create breathing room, ensuring the remaining schedule could be adjusted without drawing more attention. Staff members who've watched the tempo of Abi accelerate in recent weeks say this was a wake-up call. The intensity that makes a scene electric can also make a day brittle if care isn't built into the plan. The word backstage was that such an outpouring was almost inevitable under the weight of expectation and nonstop scrutiny. Behind the scenes, the producers moved swiftly. They greenlit shorter staging windows for big confrontations, streamlined setups to reduce downtime, and, perhaps most tellingly, reintroduced the set counselor who had been part of earlier blocks of filming. Quiet one-on-ones began, giving actors and crew a chance to offload the emotional residue that complex, high-conflict scripts leave behind. The difference was subtle but meaningful. Conversations turned from blame to process. Meanwhile, the tabloid machine spun stories in every direction. Some shows framed the moment as an on-set eruption that slipped outside the guardrails of the scene. Others argued it was exactly what you'd expect from artists working at the edge of their capacity, an emotional crest, not a meltdown. Fans mirrored that divide. To some, exhaustion explained everything, to others, the set should be sacred ground for discipline. Through it all, the public relations team for Abi worked to keep the narrative from collapsing into caricature. By evening, another plan was in motion. A brief joint appearance, timed and modest, where Barış and Yağmur would step in front of a camera together, look the audience in the eye, and remind everyone that they're collaborators first. Whether that happens this week or next, sources say it's designed to cool speculation and gently relocate the focus to the work, not the rumor mill. If anything, the attention has made the series an even bigger talking point, not only for its storyline, but for the whisper network that trails a set where big names carry bigger expectations. In truth, none of this is unique to Abi. The set is a pressure cooker by design, marks to hit, cameras to satisfy, hearts to break on cue. When two strong performers meet in the center of that heat, their methods can clash even when their goals align. That's what makes this story ring true to insiders. There are no villains here, just two people trying to protect the craft they care about, one by insisting on precision, the other by chasing raw feeling, until a tiny misread sparks a flare. For viewers who adore Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel, the hope is straightforward: let the work speak again. The producers have signaled that the environment will be safer, the schedule more humane, and the communication clearer. The crew, bruised by the day's shock, appears ready to rally around both leads. And if the behind-the-scenes storm leaves a trace anywhere, it may be in the sharpened edges of their next scene together, where the new boundaries they've drawn could give their performances a richer, steadier pulse. As the story keeps trending, one thing is clear: Abby will remain a fixture of the season's conversation, and not only for what's in the script. The aftermath has stretched through call sheets and comment sections alike, and it will linger, at least until the next episode lands and the conversation shifts back to the frame. For now, the message from inside the studio walls is simple: the issue has been addressed, the set has reset, the team is moving forward. We'll keep following this story with care, watching for that joint message, and listening for whether the set's new routine holds steady. If the energy we're hearing about is any indication, what comes next could be even better, tighter, kinder, and more focused. After all, a project like this survives not by avoiding conflict, but by learning from it. That's where we'll leave it for now. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and share it with friends who can't resist a good behind-the-scenes twist. We'll be back soon with more stories from the set you love. Until then, take care and stay tuned.